So we just, I was just live and the live didn't work anymore. So I'm just gonna finish up the live, not live. So it's not gonna be a live stream anymore, but you still can watch it after the fact. So we are working on a tentacle scene right now. I want the tentacle to come out of the toilet, which is gonna be disgusting. So far we tracked the footage and I modeled a shadow catcher for the toilet seat, and I might have to also extrude the edges into the base, or it's probably easy to just make another object just for the inside of the toilet. Yeah, so so I'm just gonna make a new object for that. So Shift A, and let's make it a what are we gonna do? Cylinder, maybe. Let's try a cylinder. Let's make this small. Bring it in here. So in case you don't understand, the shadow catcher is basically just an object which is not visible. Only the shadows on it is going to be visible. So when I isolate it, it's going to isolate, or just select this face here on top. I don't want this face. I want it to be hollow. And now when I select the edges down here, scale it down a little. That's basically the toilet is going towards. Go in X-ray view, so I can actually see through it. Yeah, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. The more perfect, the better. So yeah, this is going to be my toilet bowl. I think that's what it's called, right? And also the face on the bottom. Also going to delete. So I'm going to have a water. Oh, now I can see better. So I'm going to select this again, scale it a little smaller so it's exactly the hole. And also extrude or make a few subdivisions here so it's a little more geometry. So it's like a little rounder. Let's see from the side, it's a little round. Like a toilet bowl. It's probably not perfect, but close enough. And again, we're not going to see the object, we're just going to see this as a shadow catcher. So now ground and the cylinder, I'm just going to bring this into a new collection. New collection, there we go. Call it shadow. When I select both of those and go under object, visibility, hold Alt and make sure shadow catcher is selected. So both of those things are shadow catchers now. So when I go to cycles now, you can see that I don't see anything because there is no light in my scene. Let's just put in like HDRI. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to make my HDRI transparent. So now we can see there is a shadow on my object here. So like I said, I'm going into the beginning. Yeah. Another thing I want to do is my camera settings. I'm going to turn up my viewport display at my +2 so I only see black edges. And also on the background images, I want 100% opacity so I can see the way it's going to look in there. So the lighting, I just put an HDRI in there just for now. I'm not going to leave it like this. just so I can see anything. The lighting is probably going to be like one of the last things I'm going to change. So I'm just looking at this and see if everything is aligned perfectly, at least more or less. So I think the hole is a little deeper. I think I just need to bring my tentacle lower. Go to my tentacle, let's say armature, and get it deeper into the pool, or the not pool, it's toilet. Yeah, nice. And the cool thing is even the shadow catcher is throwing shadow on my object, which I'm actually going to need because there was a light source here. And yeah, actually lighting wise it already doesn't look too bad. What I don't like about the material here, like this glowy stuff, I'm just going to turn this off. The base, I just have to find it. Oh, that's the emission, so I can just turn this off. Oh, already looks way better. Okay, another thing is I'm going to go in my shadow catcher. And I'm going to give my shadow catcher also a material. In this material, I'm going to give it a what is it called? Image texture. Put this into the base color. Open the actual video. Very important. Cycle auto refresh. And the texture coordinate node, I'm gonna go from window. So now it's basically projecting the material from camera view, which is gonna give my tentacle better reflections. So let me just video texture, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to give it also my this thing. So now everything should be reflecting onto my my tentacle. You can see if I want to turn this, when I mute this, you can see how right here it's reflecting onto my monster or my tentacle. Which is nice. Helps with the realism. Now my video is also like less contrasty than my tentacle. Just double checking my, okay, it's all on filming. I just go on my tentacle and I'm just gonna give it a hue and saturation node. It's the wrong one, actually. No, it's the right. And now I can just decrease the contrast, the saturation a little. Just a little bit. Like this value. Mostly look like here. I'm just gonna try to give it like a little more color of my scene, so a little more into the yellow. Also, I'm gonna give it an RGB node, RGB curves node. There you go. So now I can adjust the highlights, stuff like that a little bit. It's all stuff you can also do in compositing after the fact, but I always try to get as close as possible to the final image inside of Blender. Right. See, like just minor adjustments, it already makes a big difference. Also, since this is supposed to be wet, I can give it like a RGB. Let's do a ramp, color ramp, uh, into the roughness, just to make it less or more shiny. Also on the specular, and turn the specular up, maybe. Maybe what happens if I turn up the metallic? And it goes very extreme. So be careful when you play with those things. It's a very powerful tool. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the HDRI I'm using is actually not bad, but let me try to find something better. Artificial light. I'm looking at these shadows here, for example, and that's the kind of shadow hardness I need. So it's not high contrast, it's artificial light, low contrast. That one could work. And this shadow is too soft, so I need a medium contrast. Let's try this one. Again, I'm just looking at the shadows right now because I can always adjust the colors, and rotation and stuff like that. And it doesn't look too bad. That's pretty good. Also, I'm probably going to need a shadow catcher on the wall, so I need a wall. This is where the ground is. Here, at least, I have one point where I know um, this is where the wall is, because it's like right here, so I have some kind of reference. So I'm just going to make it plain, scale it down, rotate it 90 degrees, and bring the plane exactly here. Where this tracker is, because I know exactly this is where the ground is. The ground touches the wall, which is funny. It's not as low as my toilet, so it's definitely not perfect perspective. Also, the rotation seems to be off. So yeah, my track is completely a complete disaster. Let's just try to cheat it as good as we can. And now we have also a shadow there. I'm going to move this also into my shadow collection. Make this also a shadow catcher. Okay, now we also have shadow on this wall here. And here is actually a great example of how the shadow has to look and from what direction it has to come, because we have this shadow here, which obviously is going to be a little darker, but because it's like the object's a little further away than this trash can, but we'll get the idea here. Yeah, I think that's good. Now we just can keep working on our material, because the hard part is done, really. And try to fix this. And again, it's a little too dark. Maybe it's too saturated. Yeah. Yeah. Another big thing is you pan into it. And in the beginning, it's like sticking through the shadow catch, which obviously is also a problem. So could try to animate the beginning. You bring the animation further to the right. Or what else could we do? We could rotate the entire thing. But I don't like that. Because that's sticking down too much. I also can just rotate it over time, I guess. Easiest would be then just to move it a little. Because what I don't like is like fooling around with other people's animations because they did something for a reason, and then when I fool around with it, then it's never looks as good. Like right now, it also like leans forward so much, so maybe I can just rotate it some direction. Maybe it's gonna be better. Or I go in pose mode and play with the animation itself. Maybe because I can basically do with it whatever I want. And it's going to be good enough if I just make it bigger because it's not going to stick out. That would be like the easiest way. So it's not going to stick into the wall. Alright, into the toilet seat. Here I can see very well how it's like sticking in there. And I don't like that. Okay, one more thing I want to do is that I actually can just wrap it up and make another plane. Plane right here. Scale it down. And I'm going to put it into the pool where the water starts, which is somewhere here. Smaller. Apply the scale. Now I can give it a either an ocean modifier or I'll just give it a just like in the pool video. I'm gonna give it a what is it called? Dynamic paint. This is gonna be the canvas. Add canvas. Waves is what I want. That thing is gonna be also dynamic paint. Add canvas. Oops, what's wrong? A brush. This is gonna be a brush. Now just I have to give it a billion subdivision, so it's actually gonna work. Edit mode, right click, subdivide, a lot, 50. Cool. Now you can see how it makes waves. I'm just going to give it a material, very simple, just called water. Instead of the principal BSDF, I'll just give it a glass shader. Surface 1.333. And making sure that this is off. So I need any of that. It's fine. Yeah, so now I have like water in there, which I don't really know if it's helping or not, but now let me just bake it for 400 frames. When does it start? Let's say it starts at frame 105. Now it's gonna where do I bake this? Hold on. Up here. Okay. Bake this thing. Now it's gonna take a few minutes. Once it's done, then we can move on. Work on the material a little. Yeah. Again, I'm very disappointed this didn't work in the live stream. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna put it together or not, or just leave it as is. But yeah, maybe videos like this are going to be more popular too because it's like more natural. I just wonder why does it look like this? I think that's the HDRI. So I'm gonna go turn off the HDRI. I think that's it. So I'm just gonna turn off the reflection of my HDRI, the indirect light basically. I'm just gonna use a node called light path and a mix node, a mixed color node. So I'm gonna use glossy ray into the factor and this into this and this into this, and that should remove indirect light. But I still can see. Yeah, I don't like how brown this is. Water is like so clear. Okay, that doesn't work. Just gonna add a volume ball in here, like this here. Because why not? Working on some sci-fi fantasy scenes, so might as well go all kinds of crazy. Give it a volume scatter maybe. Principal volume. Add this into the volume. I rarely use volumes in like real scenes. Okay. So now you can see how it just gets darker the deeper we see. And I think that's pretty cool. I can play with the density. Oh, I can even, how about that? I'm gonna add, it's kind of cool. I'm gonna add like subtle bugs, images as planes, under acids. I'm gonna add some, not butterflies, what is this? Bugs. Bugs, there you go, subtle bugs. I'm gonna have it right here. I don't know if it's gonna add or maybe not, but we'll see. So I'm gonna have a transparency node, translucency node, mix those two. The actual subtle bugs are going to go in the factor. This goes into the surface. Now I should have subtle bugs here flying around. And if the translucency node doesn't work, I can always have an emission node instead. That wouldn't surprise because you need, for translucency, you need it to be a backlit. Might not work. So we don't have any light up there. So now we have like subtle bugs flying around. And I'll just give it in the brown blue color. Take this color. Nice. And again, like when you play with the lighting, sometimes you just want to adjust your colors of your material. Yeah, that's basically the effect. Now, of course, I have to fine tune a lot until I'm happy. I'm gonna because I just switched the position a little of my where's my liquid here? I'm gonna scale it down so I only have it where I actually need it. The the liquid. Delete the bag and bake it again. I don't even know how much of that we're gonna see because again I added like this the fog in there and the sort of bugs, and I was even thinking adding it smoke, but it's probably too much. I wonder if the water just doesn't look as good because there's nothing to reflect. It just reflects darkness. Maybe that's why. What if I make it rougher? I don't know. This here looks fine. This one looks fine here. Here it gets very dark. And I wonder if it's because like the HDRI reflects in there, it just gets so dark. Again, you can always adjust those things. It's just in general, it's just way too sharp. But I'm not gonna blur it in Blender. That's like stuff I would rather do in After Effects, so I don't render out it too blurry because then there's no way back. And, rendering out of Blender always takes longer. But is still too much contrast in the? Might be. I think that the texture just has too much contrast. So I'm just gonna go up with the shadows a little and go down with the highlights because that removes the contrast basically. Like a S curve the other way around. Question mark curve basically. I'm gonna remove the bones. I don't want to see the bones. Also don't want to see the tracking markers. And it looks like it has too little contrast, don't you think? Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with that. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna render the shadow pass. Those are the shadows. Separately, maybe. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna make two different layers. I have a background. In my background, I'm just gonna have my foreground indirect only, and in my foreground, I have my shadows indirect only. Let's just render one frame and see. I'm gonna set this up in the compositor. Background, foreground, those are my two render layers. I don't need any of this. Deleted. File output. Two things. So I'm gonna go in the node properties. Wonderful shadow. And this is gonna be image. Foreground goes to image. Background is gonna go to shadow. Let's just hope for the best. Let's render an image. Alright, the rendered frame took 20 seconds. I have the foreground, go to background. Under the background, we shouldn't be able to see the tentacles. I might have done something wrong. It should be only the shadow. And also, I would need some shadow on it too. So I'm gonna fix those two things. Now on my background, okay, all of this should be in the foreground. Also in the foreground. So now in the foreground, we only see this. Background, we only see this. Just a shadow. And again, I'm gonna model just a ground real quick, so I also have shadows on the ground. Also, I'm not going to render this in 4K. I'm going to render in full HD because it's a social media video. I'm not going to need it in 4K, and it's going to render probably 3 times faster. We're going to see it in a second. The last render took almost 20 seconds. This one took 10 seconds. Cool. So this is the foreground. This is the background, only shadows. That should work to composite this. Alright, so now I just have to give it a folder to composite it, to render it to. Tentacle Toilette, Tentacle Toilette, render. Accept. I'm going to start save one more time. And now I'm going to render animation. And while this is happening, I'm just going to go in After Effects. See. If you watch the live stream, you can see how I tried to track it in After Effects. It didn't work. It's fine. Now I'm gonna actually, that's something. I don't need the first few frames. Because we start, the actual animation starts like somewhere here. We checked it earlier, it's like frame 104. So 110. But we don't need to render the first 110 frames. So now render animation. And actually a cool image if I just had this as my before after, using this as a before, it would be could be a successful video too. So now I can already go into like After Effects and see if I can import maybe just an image. Go 16, 116. Import. Just to see how I would composite that. '16 is here. Scale it up to 100% because we're rendering in what is it called, in full HD. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough composite shell. Maybe it's not even gonna work. Again, I tried something different in this one. And if it's not gonna work, then this video was just a fail. I learned something and moving on. I don't understand why this is blue. It shouldn't be blue. Thing is, because I'm rendering, should also render this in the temp folder. See temp. Let's check. Maybe I can just, instead of compositing properly together, I can just having the full video. So I'm just going to go to my C folder. C, yeah, temp. So I'm going to bring this in here just as an experiment. Frame 128. Yeah, looks the same. I wonder if it's because something is off here. Shadow catcher. So since the shadow catcher doesn't work as a holdout anymore, because when I bring this to the top, Yeah, I'll figure it out. Anywho, this was this very unsuccessful video. I hope you enjoyed it somehow, maybe learned something. And if you have any suggestions how to make this better, I'm sure you do. And please let me know in the comments below. And see you in the next video.